He's trying to get on all of these accounts. And he's hollering and making noise and saying he's going to get an attorney. So they put him out. He went to another bank, but they really in on this one. In Berkeley, they say. They called me and they say he has some paperwork. No, he opened another account, which he wasn't supposed to, and took $35,000, $36,000 out of our account and put it in a new account that he had opened. He didn't have a right to open that. When I went to the bank and I looked, I always get the balance. I looked at the balance. So I said, what is this? They said, no, well, didn't you take it from this account and put it in there? I said, absolutely not. So they checked at this bank over here and they said, oh, no, this man didn't open an account. And I said, no, I didn't open that account. You got to put that money back in to our account, which they did. But a few days later, they back at it. And then they called me on the phone and said, this man is here doing this stuff again. Do you want us to arrest him? I said, you do what you want to do. They pretend to arrest him. He goes into jail and pretend and come back the next day and they give him all of our money. It's perfect because why I haven't worried about it, because when they do stuff like that, I'm going to sue them for $25 million. Not that today they acted stupid again. Today. Actually today, they just let it go again. But I'm not going to go into that. I'm going to go into something that, this is a great study. Psychological Harassment Information Association. This is about psychological manipulation. Later on, I'll give you one of these. I gave them to the brothers before we had a class on psychological manipulation. Now, I'll just read the opening. Psychological manipulation. Psychological manipulation and induce psychological illness. Induced. As indicated on the home page, psychological harassment and psychological manipulation, mind control, can induce psychological and physical disorders. Basically, they can run you crazy and cause you physical illness if you go for it. And it works on a lot of people. Easy stuff. A guy works for a company and becomes a whistleblower. Is that cold air or hot air blowing in here?
It's cold air now.
Yeah. Okay. Do you have it on or do you have it on auto?
Auto.
Okay.
I'll cut it off for now.
Do you have the temperature gauge way up or is it down low?
It's a little bit on the low side.
Okay. Well, we'll be all right for a minute or so. I'll try to speed up. When an individual is targeted, the level of harassment usually begins slowly and increases with time. Anytime someone interacts with you, they can influence your thoughts and also manipulate your thoughts. Usually people tune out the conversations around them. If you are in a crowded room and someone calls out your name, they will probably attract your attention. Of course they will. I don't care how loud things are going on. If somebody says, Brother Tariq, Akibulan is such and such. He may be facing that way, and you may be way over there. You're going to say, hey man, what's happening? Because it's something that we are tuned into. We may not be listening to nothing else, nobody's saying, but when they call our name, okay. Individuals can recall or form images. The expression I get the visual. When someone talks about or describes a scene, you may form an image even if you have never seen what the other person is talking about. Anyway, let me skip all of that stuff. I'm just gonna, that's all kind of strategies and tactics for psychological manipulation. And I only have conditioning your mind negatively or positively. Ivan Pavlov. I didn't know they had Pavlov's dog. Anyway, have you ever noticed someone is very negative and always complaining? They may start to influence you, and you may start to see only the negative events or negative side of everything. The way you think can be conditioned, and a person can also be psychologically manipulated to have a negative thinking pattern. In other words, they can schedule events over long periods of time. Remember the way it opened up? Psychological manipulation begins slowly, and then it builds up. In other words, if the government or a company or a big organization targets somebody, or a group at the school, or a fraternity, somebody they don't like, just a fraternity, they target the guy because he did something they don't like, and they put out little stuff on it here. They embarrass him over there. This disguise in their class, right? Pretty soon they can make the guy paranoid, make him mad. You know what I mean? He's at a party and he blows up. You so-and-so's doing. He might be telling the truth, but they didn't make him blow up. You see, it's all kind of psychological. So a tactic often used is to constantly interrupt or expose the victim to negativity. Now, some cases it is used to induce or can lead to depression linked to self-esteem or self-worth. Now, take yours truly. If I'm constantly bombarded with all this stuff all day long, all the time, and they've taken all of my friends and they've sidelined them, either scared them to death or offer them a peace, or if they're family, they tell them, you know how your uncle or your father is, he's a good, powerful man. We have people in the agencies, if he's successful doing what he do, they're gonna kill him. But if you help us slow him down a little bit, we'll give you a little something for yourself, and you'll save his life. That's what your dumb family, they're gonna do it. Because they know, they already see what you do. They leave this nigga alone, he gonna turn the whole ship upside down. So, the government goes to the people and they neutralize your friends or run all your friends away. Suppose a guy come in there and take a shot, he's a nice man, and you start teaching him. But suppose when he goes out, he has a flat tire, and he goes to the halal place and somebody break in his car. He goes by another masjid and prays, and there's writing on, scratching on his car. Everything that's associated with Islam is bad. He don't know what's going on. Pretty soon he says, man, this is deep right here. He goes away. He don't know why. All he knows is everything associated with Islam is bad. And I had no problems before. Now everywhere I go, everywhere I turn, this is a type of conditioning. You can condition your mind to think positively and expect positive outcome. Right? You can be taught negativity. Okay. Can affect your self-confidence. You know, suppose you're trying to do some good and it always blows up in your face. Pretty soon you begin to, and then you have some other agents around you telling you, man, maybe that's too big a job, you know. Maybe you wasn't cut out for that. Later on, other people might come and get bold and say, man, you're just a loser. You know, you're just a loser. He don't know. He tried all these things. He has no idea there's big boss man up there working. He's the target. So he can be, they can build his mind the way they want it if he's not aware of it. Do they do it? They do it all the time, every day. Okay, now, there's all kind of sounds they got, condition words, the identification word or trigger word. You know what I mean, to trigger, like ringing the bell and the dog starts salivating. Because every time they rang the bell before, they had food coming right behind it. So the dogs salivating, get ready because they rang the bell. They got key words, they got all kind of things. This old, I call him what it does, mean old white man. He's a mean old joker. He's a low-down rotten. But rejection hurts and can lower your self-esteem. Rejection hurts, registered as pain by the brain, as mentioned on the home page. And rejection can be used in attempts to harm and also to lower a person's self-esteem and self-worth. What do you think happened to black people? When they're in their teens, they are always tougher, faster, and sharper than white boys. But as they go along, the system works to break down the Negro mind. By the time they're 25 years old, the white boy is a police officer or somewhere, right? And the Negro's in jail. And the Negro doesn't blame the system, he blames himself. Man, if I'd have stayed in school, I'd have been all right to stay in school, my behind. Yeah. The white man has a program to destroy you. This is what I'm saying. All of this stuff has worked on our people. Self-doubt. People, what do they call it now? People getting bullied. I guess that's a big deal on the internet and stuff like that. Okay. Now, it's one thing to have a group of people bullying you, but what if the United States government is bullying you? Now, I don't want to go through all of this domestic covert operations. This is all the things, or some of the things, that the government constantly have done to people and do to people now, except it's upgraded. What I want to do is I want to jump right now. I want to jump somewhere. I'll start off with this flyer. Psychological guerrilla warfare has worked. Psychological guerrilla warfare has worked. This is December 1st, 2013. This is the first time we're doing this program on psychological guerrilla warfare. What are we doing? We're telling the people that we have a program that we have designed, and it has worked. The next year we have a program. Here's what it says. Victory of Islam over the Shah, that's in Iran. Victory of Masjid al-Islam over the combined forces of American Zionism. What does that mean? Masjid al-Islam has whipped the United States government, the Zionists, and all of the American establishment. That is a big statement. In spite of Steve Emerson, Sean Hannity, I might have some of this stuff. Daniel Pipes, the NSA, FBI, CIA, Homeland Security, and a host of other clowns. Masjid al-Islam in East Oakland is the only independent masjid that stands for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala against American Zionism. Now here's what's going to happen on February 2nd, 2014. Imam Musa will inshallah share case study after case study on how to practice psychological guerrilla warfare. Remember, the Islamic Institute for Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare. What was that? This is one set of buildings. You can't see this, but anyway, this is a school building. This is a masjid in Oakland. This is a big, almost a block long of buildings. Okay, now what is it? That's where our Office of Islamic Institute for Counter-Zionist American Psychological Warfare had two offices. One in Oakland and one on 8th Street. That was the office there. What are we going to do? Imam Musa will inshallah share case study. You know, in whatever you studied at the university, if you studied business and management, they had case study of Coca-Cola, of Pepsi, or Pepco, right? And its investment policy. And they use somebody that we all know, General Electric, as a case study. So we're going to share case study after case study on how to practice psychological guerrilla warfare. What is psychological guerrilla warfare? We wrote articles and we studied very well what's called guerrilla warfare. Guerrilla warfare